Hi friends, and welcome to another Digitone and Digitakt tutorial. This time I want to talk about transitions, but in this specific example based on a recent jam that I'm currently working on. So I found that within this jam I had some very nice techniques that I wanted to share with you that might help you to make your transitions more impactful, and also how I like to utilize the Elektron sequencer to really boost up my transitions and have them to be most impactful. I would say without further ado, let's jump right into it. So for this tutorial we are using the example of a brand new jam that I'm currently working on for an upcoming compilation of my label, so definitely stay tuned for that. Let me quickly show you how the pattern normally sounds versus how it sounds when performing a transition in this pattern. This now is the normal version of the pattern. And now pay attention to the ending. Okay, and now I will perform the transition for you in the second half, starting now. Yeah, I think you could really hear the difference in these two versions, and the second version was of course way more impactful. And I'm achieving this transition within the pattern by using three main steps. The first one is leaving sounds out, the second one is adding new sounds, and then the third one is changing existing sounds. Let's have a closer look at that. Now, step number one is leaving sounds out. And to make it for me as easy as possible, I just have all sounds controlled by the fill mode. So whenever I hit page on both machines, there are mutes going on, there are sounds changing, so that I don't have to overthink the performance and just can focus on these two buttons. And I know whenever I press those, there are a lot of things going on. So let's first focus on the sounds that are left out. The first one is the kick drum, which in the usual pattern sounds like this. And whenever I hit the page button, it will get muted. And this can be achieved by very easy. If we have a look into the sequencer, we can see here that all, I'm on the wrong track. Here we go. That all these tricks basically have reverse fill mode, which means whenever I enter fill mode, these tricks won't play. So kick drum is playing and I hold the page button and the kick drum doesn't play anymore. I know I could also just perform a mute like this to mute the kick drum, but for me it's very easy to know, okay, no matter what's muted, what's playing, I hit page on both machines and then the transition will be performed. No matter which other tracks are muted. Okay, let's have a look at the close hi-hat, because here it's pretty much the same. It will just regularly play. And then in the last round of the sequencer, you can hear when I hit the page button, in the last bar, the hi-hat won't play. And here, the same. If you take a look here at the steps, in the sequencer, you can see all of them have reverse fill mode on them. Then we have on track number 6, I think, yes, the step sound coming in. And this sound is a little bit special, because here I set the sound to play only every 1 out of 2. I'll show you that in the sequencer. Here, I didn't press page button to enter the fill mode, but the step didn't play in the second round. And this is, let's have a look at the track, due to the fact that here all of these tricks are set to play only every first out of 2 rounds. So every second round these tricks are not playing. And this was due to the fact that I felt, okay, whenever the pattern plays through in even the normal round, I needed to give the additional bass line, which comes then in, some space. So I decided to leave these tricks out. But it also, of course, supports the transition. And then we have the vocal sample on track number 7 here, which comes also in. And here we have again reverse fill mode. So when I now hold this, you can hear last bar. There's nothing playing. And here again, like in the previous ones, reverse fill mode on all the steps. And this actually, the reason why I'm doing this, leaving sounds out, is that I want in the next two steps to add new sounds and also to change certain sounds, to put them more in the foreground. And to make some room for these sounds, I decided to leave certain sounds out to bring them then back in the next cycle of the pattern. Okay, let's move on to step number 2, which is adding sounds. In my transitions, I like to build up some tension by using additional snare tricks in the first half of the transition. So now if we are looking at the snare track here, which usually sounds like this, you can hear right now. Some additional tricks that are coming in. And for this, I'm using the retrick mode of the Digitakt, which you can, sorry, I'm in the wrong track. Here we go. Which you can see here is activated. So I set the retrick to 1 and then just different length settings and then the rate to 16th notes. And then I basically just randomly copied and pasted these tricks in the sequencer until I have something that builds up tension even before the real transition starts. In addition to that, I also have here on track number 8, let's unmute it, a classic riser. Nothing too special, just a reversed crash cymbal, but it really gets the job done and supports the transition nicely. Let me show you here in the sequencer. Here it is. Yeah, like I said, reversed crash cymbal works great for that, and it's just to add another element to make the transition a little bit more impactful. And now we are coming to the most important part, which is changing sounds that already exist. Now, step number 3 is, like I said, changing sounds. And for this pattern, I have in the last bar this melody. Let me quickly show you here on the bass line of the Digitone. This melody, where is it? Here. Which the bass is playing and that I really like. And this also plays in the regular pattern, but my idea was that in this transition, nearly all other instruments are supporting this melody and rhythm number 2. So let's for now go quickly back to the snare track, because here it gets quite obvious. In the second half of the pattern, I put all regular snare tricks, like you can see here, to reverse fill mode, so that they are basically not playing, and added new ones to match exactly the rhythm the bass is playing. So let me quickly play for you just the snare and the bass track to have it even more obvious. Need to wait until the end of the pattern. Now it comes. Yeah, and then we have other rhythmic tracks, like for example the open hi-hat here on track number 4 and the percussion sound on track number 5 that are joining this rhythm as well in the transition. So let me play you all these tracks together. Again, we need to wait until the end, and here we go. And then, when we have the rhythmic elements joining this transition, we also have the melodic tracks here on the Digitone, which are a little special because they are not only supporting the rhythm, but of course also joining the melody that the bass track is playing. So let me just quickly show you that. Unmute track number 4 here, and then basically, yeah, let's unmute all the Digitone tracks so that you can hear it. Now the ARP is playing something different. And now the transition comes. Yeah, so all the melodic tracks are supporting this as well, but you could maybe also hear that they are moving a little bit more in the foreground. And this I achieved with basically 3 parameters. I increased the chorus send, the amp decay, and the filter envelope. Let me quickly show you here on track number 1, the bass track, where it gets quite obvious. So we have this regular end, and then which is also set to reverse fill mode. And then I have this end, another trick, which plays the same melody, set to fill mode, micro-timed all the way to the left. So basically whenever I'm in fill mode, it kind of like, it changes or it replaces the first one. And this one sounds way more impactful and like this. Yeah, and you could see here, in difference to the normal sound, I increased the decay time of this step. I also increased the chorus send. So you can see here, the bass sound already has a lot of chorus on it, but here the bass sound for this transition is fully wet. And the same goes, by the way, here for track number 4, which is this plug sound. Then listen now to this was the normal sound, and now comes the transition sound. Way more open and way more in the foreground. Also on this one here, you can see it here. I slightly increased the decay of the filter opening, so that it's a little bit more open on the filter envelope. And adds a little bit more groove to the sound. And then we have these 2 sounds here, the tracks 2 and 4. And here it was a little bit more tricky because they have different ARP settings than the ARP here used on the bass track. So I additionally needed to recreate the melody in the sequencer. So this is the regular sound, and then now I put this one here, of course, to reverse fill mode, and these are all the tricks that are playing the melody. And if I play them now, sorry. Yeah, you could really hear that now they are perfectly lined up and playing the melody along with the bass track. But you can also maybe hear that they are rising in impact due on this track to a higher filter envelope. So you can see here on these fill tracks very different settings, and the filter envelope here gets higher with every trick. Now in the second half I'm going back here to 14, but then I make it rise in impact again. And this is also to, and then also we have rising chorus again. So this is 70, 80, 100, 110, 127. Here we're already at the maximum. And then it basically stays at the maximum throughout the last pattern. And this is, of course, like I said before, to push the sounds way more in the foreground. And yeah, all together then the transition, like I showed you, if we are now taking all the tracks on, let me play it one more time for you. Now we're starting. Yeah, you could really hear that all these tiny parameter changes in the end support the transition, and I honestly really like how it turned out, although it was of course a lot of programming to do on these two machines. But I really like to do that because then I know whenever I play this live, I just need to hold the page button and can perform a very nice transition and don't need to think too much about anything else regarding tweaking parameters, opening filters, adding or opening the MTK more. So I can just go and know, okay, when I hold page on both machines, I'm perfectly fine, and it got me covered for the transition of this track. And yeah, that wraps up some ideas how you can make the transitions in your jam a little bit more interesting. Hope you found the video useful. Maybe you have some other ideas how you which you like to use for your transitions, and maybe you have some other things which you would want to see from me, maybe some other Digitone tutorials, some Digitakt tutorials, or tutorials on both. Please let me know, happy to chat with you. And yeah, I'm now definitely want to finish this jam, so we'll pick this up. And yeah, wishing you a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe, stay creative, and I see you very soon. Bye.